other different types of dementia, and depending upon where the difficulties lie, that in the illness determines the course of treatment.
You can. All you have to do is want to do it.
Yes.
Want to be it.
When you set your mind to it, and this is who you are, and
the grown men. We have the youth that we need to mentor, and we need to inspire, and we need to motivate. But I know, as a recent conversation between you and I, that you're also in the business of motivating grown men. Through that, I'm supposed to see God in it at every turn. So me going to the Sea of Galilee was to remind me of that, to refresh myself of that. It is all under control, that He does have it. It's just as clear as that fresh water that I saw.
You're Our Unity, hosted by Le'Shawn Walker, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. PST.
Welcome, everyone, to You're Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to respect the unique differences in others. Let's be respectful and compassionate. Let's just be kind to one another. I am your host, Le'Shawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. Well, folks, it is the last Tuesday in April. It has gone by so quickly, but I hope that you guys were able to spring into action. I hope that you were able to walk into your life. And as of last week, I hope that you're advocating out there for your children. It's been a whirlwind these last couple of weeks. I've been, all about renewal and regrowth and rebirth and just celebrating just greatness in all of us. So I hope that you are out there taking the opportunity to do that. We're basically going into May. The summertime is creeping in, and I want you guys out there doing something great, doing something for others, sharing your love with the world. Last week, as I mentioned, we had a wonderful show with a beautiful guest, Lynette Battle, and we talked about being a parent advocate, being and taking action for your children, standing up for them. Well, I want to dig so deep into this conversation today with two amazing guests that I have. And I'm going into the conversation rather quickly because I only have my guests for a short time. But I want to introduce you to two amazing people who I call the Advocate Duels. We have Mike Dempsey and his beautiful daughter, Kellie Dempsey. And we'll be talking to them just about advocating, not just for her and other children, for just the world and humanity. So first, I'd like to introduce you to Mike. The title of the show is Autism Awareness, Support, Educate, Advocate, and Love. Mike Dempsey, father and autism dad, multi-sport athlete, philanthropist, terrorism survivor, risk management speaker, family man. Mike Dempsey champions many causes to help special needs children and adults. Mike is active as a leader in UNC's Autism Fathers Conference Network and speaks at events, conferences, and roundtables all over the country, reflecting on his own personal stories of resiliency and living his best life to serve others. His beautiful daughter, Kellie, is a 20-year-old autism awareness advocate who attends Wake Tech Community College, studying special education. Kellie is also a competitive cheerleader, having competed on several world teams over the last 5 years. Kellie co-hosted her own podcast show called Dads and Daughters with her dad, Mike, for 24 episodes over 2 seasons. She is passionate about advocating for the autism community and spends a great deal of her time supporting and serving this beautiful, special community in any way she can. Please help me welcome my amazing guests, Mike and Kellie Dempsey. How are you guys?
Great to see you.
Great to see you too. Thank you so much for being here.
We're excited. This is our second time on the show. I think it was year, maybe 2 years ago during COVID. We're out of COVID and we're just enjoying life.
Yes, I can tell. I mean, again, you guys are always on the move, doing great things for, your community. And so I just wanted to share that, being that this is Autism Awareness Month. And I know how passionate the both of you are about that and spreading the word. So welcome again. I know we only have Kellie for a short time because she has some other business that she has to tend to in about a half an hour. So I really would just want to dig right in and speak to Kellie real quick about your passion for advocating and what it means to you. Tell us a little about that.
I started a blog and a Facebook page back in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, just so I could write about topics that were important to me, and I think were important in the world, like anti-bullying and mental health and accepting people with disabilities. And I think I want to expand on that more in the future and do more work in the community. So I'm not just like writing, but also making a difference.
Wow, that's beautiful. How did that come about? Were you a little girl when you started feeling this way and knowing that it was important to share this, or where did this passion and this action come from?
I think it started more once the coronavirus pandemic hit, because I was home and I realized that people were struggling a lot, and I was struggling a lot at that time. But I've always wanted to have a career helping others since I was in about 4th grade. So I've always wanted to have my life's work be in that area.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. So what do you find, just so rewarding about the work that you're doing right now?
I've gotten to help other people, and other people say that, like, I've helped them, and other people have helped me. I think through writing, sometimes in my writings, I often help myself, or like I'm able to express my feelings really well.
Yeah.
And that I'm able to help myself grow and help other people.
Yeah, I love that. How important do you think that it is for people to share their story? I mean, I'm sure, you were able to share your story with someone else, which made you comfortable to also want to share what you're going through. So how about you share with the viewers out there how important it is for you to, speak about what's on your mind and what's in your heart, and sharing the struggles that you might be going through?
I think people sharing their stories helps people find more like common ground with one another, even if someone has gone through something hard in life. I think the more we share and own what we've been through in life and how we want to help the world help us ourselves and the world get better, the more unity and like peace there is among people, and I think everyone will be a lot nicer to each other.
Yes, I so agree, my friend. You're such a young girl and you are so intelligent. I'm serious. You see everything that's going on. Oh my God. So, I mean, I know you just started college not too long ago. How was that? How was that experience? And what are you doing right now while you're in school? What are you learning? What's different?
I started college. I graduated high school in 2021, and then I started college a couple of months after, and it's been a very good, very like liberating experience, because I think in college I've been able to see more of what I want to do in life, and right now I'm in community college, but I'm gonna transfer and get a bachelor's in special education, which I've wanted to be a special education teacher since I was young. Wow. So I'm planning on doing that, and I think since starting college, I've been able to focus more on helping others and what I want my life's work to be.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. What drew you towards special education?
I have a friend, Cameron, And that was, he was mostly, he had cerebral palsy, and that was mainly what made me, well, I met him in 3rd grade, so he made me want to work in special education because I would come into his classroom and hang out with him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a lot of friends that also are in, that I would visit in special education classrooms. So that, seeing that made me want to work as a special education teacher because they're always very positive environments.
Oh my God. We have a few pictures of you and Cameron, actually. I know you guys had such a special relationship. And I follow you on Facebook, and I just loved seeing how you guys interacted. And I was so sad, you know, when I found out that he passed away. Tell me a little about your relationship, how it was formed, how, you know, special the communication was between the two of you, and how much you miss him.
Yeah, I met Cameron in 3rd grade. We were in elementary school together. He had actually just come to my elementary school, and he started visiting my class. We were in different classes, but he started like hanging out with my class, and I thought he was really fun. And so we kept hanging out even when he didn't like come to my class anymore, and we just kind of like instantly developed a bond. And he's just very fun to be around, and he always showed that he really cared about other people.
Yeah.
Even if he couldn't like verbally express it, you could always tell that he cared a lot about you, and that he was very happy to just live, even if he didn't have some of the things that we take for granted every day.
Yeah, they brought out the best in each other. I mean, they really did. I mean, Kellie, I think Cam made Kellie a better person, and Kellie made Cam a better. I mean, they just had this unique connection. They could communicate without communicating.
Yeah.
See them together was just amazing. It really was a real story in itself. And I think the most impressive thing I think I've ever seen Kellie, and Kellie's done a lot of impressive things, by the way, but when she gave the eulogy at his funeral, I mean, that was one of the things that I still can't believe. She got up there and delivered this heartfelt speech right from the heart and got up there in front of everybody. It was pretty impressive.
Wow. Wow. She represented her love for him, because again, I follow you on Facebook, and I saw all the beautiful times and moments that you guys shared with each other, and it was so touching. And you could tell that he did, and you as well for him, held a very special place in each other's heart. So I think that is beautiful. So let me ask you, I know that you're passionate about bullying. You want to make sure that no one's picking on anyone and everyone's treated fairly, and don't touch me. I want to know, what are you doing and what are you saying about bullying, and how this world, and we should be advocates about spreading awareness about anti-bullying?
I was bullied, especially in middle school. So I think that people need to find more common ground with one another, especially kids, because they struggle with that. And people need to see people for more than what they may think they are on the outside, and not judge people by like what they might first see in a person without getting to know them. And just be nicer to each other, because it's not hard, and you would not, and I think no one wants to be bullied. So I think just thinking that you don't want to put someone through that because you wouldn't want to go through it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. What kind of work? I mean, do you guys there, because I know you live in North Carolina, correct?
Yeah, we're in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yep.
What kind of events do you guys, or have you put on any events this month, to spread autism awareness? What have you guys been doing for the last couple of weeks?
Well, I do something through my Autism Dads Network. We have a Autism Dads group that was formed through UNC.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a lot with the TEACH. It's called TEACHH. They're probably the most renowned, group nationally, and we have people from all walks of, from actually the whole country, but they really congregate here at the headquarters in North Carolina, and I kind of spearheaded the creation of it a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
I felt like the dads, we really needed to get together and talk about our experiences, because we always sometimes focus on the moms, but not the dads.
Yeah.
A lot of dads have the responsibilities of, like I do, with the IEPs and going up to school and advocating, and I had to be, Kellie members, all those meetings I had to have at school, and all the legal stuff I had to pull out of my back pocket because I'm from New York, we Stu, I'm kidding. But, when I was down here, when things weren't going her way, we had to make some changes, and I had to be an advocate for her and show her that in order to get things for her needs, I had to be an advocate and be involved in everything, all her day-to-day activities. So it was so that we did a couple things around, a couple of meetings and peer groups, and I know Kellie does the Miracle League. That's how they commemorate there. She's been doing Miracle League for how many years now, Kellie? 7 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years, okay. So Miracle League, they've done a lot of group activities, and it's really nice to see the kids out there playing baseball and having a fun time, and it's been like a family. I think that every Miracle League group is across the country. They develop this unity, as you said, right? That's your show, right?
Yeah.
Unity the kids all develop just from playing baseball, and right, Kellie?
Yes.
Yeah.
All our friends are there, and we had so it's been a great month of celebrating and kind of really rejoicing and being her, right? I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. And how do you love being you, Miss Kellie? I understand that you are in cheerleader. You're a cheerleader right now. Tell us a little about that. You are tumbling and jumping, and what are you doing? Tell me about your cheerleading. Your cheerleading right now.
I started cheer in middle school when I was 13,
Mm-hmm.
and because I saw it as a team. I'd never really been in a team environment prior to that, so
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to just get involved in like a team, and I ended up really, really loving it, and it kind of like changed my life for the better. And since then, I've just never stopped.
Wow.
It's really freeing for me because there I feel like I can just be like seen as myself and not have like pressures put on me.
Yeah.
And I've met like most of my close friends from it, and it's given me a lot. Like even through the hard times, it's still giving me a lot.
I think what was very unique about Kellie was that she did do at one time, they call it special needs, a dream team, and she did that briefly, but Kellie wanted to be on a real competitive team where she wasn't judged based on the fact that she has a disability. She didn't want any special. She competes on the actual world teams and teams that are competitive, and that took a lot of work and practice to get Kellie to the.
Like I wanted to show that like you don't have to be put in a certain box just because you have a disability. Like you can do anything.
That's right. I love that, Kellie. I really, really do. And I know that pushed you too, right? It forced you to reach for something higher. How important do you think that is for others as well, in probably the same situation, not to kind of be boxed in and allow them that kind of latitude or longitude for them to go and pursue something, bigger than what they think they can actually achieve?
I put myself in a box also for a while because I thought I wasn't really capable of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized I was the only one putting limits on myself. Like even if other people do, only I can truly see what I'm capable of, like athletically or in anything. So I had to like go see myself, what I could do, and not give up because I think I have limitations.
Yeah.
My disability.
Wow, that is admirable, my friend. It really, really is. Now, I know that you talked about mental health and stuff and how important it is for, others to advocate for, children, especially children who are dealing with mental health issues. What kind of challenges, if you don't mind sharing, did you really experience, as a child that you're so grateful that not only for your father advocating for you, but also the help from, community and support from others? What kind of challenges did you experience that you no longer have a problem with?
I think people being judgmental and thinking that, like, because I'm autistic, I can't function and that I'm not smart. And I dealt with that a lot from other kids, but also a lot of adults that just weren't very nice. And, like, I still dealt with that until recently. But I think that there's a lot more like nice and good people that I've met, and I think that I've really had a lot of good. I really have a lot of good friends and people in my life that have helped me.
I think Kellie too has been a champion in the cheerleading community too, because the industry itself. It's really funny. We think cheerleading is not like other sports,
Yeah.
but it is. It's got a lot of competitive and a lot of bad things.
Yes.
We've seen a lot in the media about abuse that has gone on, and these athletes. And talk a little bit about that, Kellie.
I experienced a situation like that last year, but I'm not in that situation anymore, thankfully.
Thank God.
But I know a lot of people that even I know have dealt with like cheer or competitive sports in general, destroying their mental health and self-image, and it happened to me. But I'd really like to touch on that topic because I feel like people don't talk about the mental health of kids that are in really competitive or high-pressure situations like that, and why we need like adults who are put in the position of like impacting a child's life, why they have to take that role seriously and make sure they're a positive influence.
Yes, it is very, very important. You're absolutely right. And they need to listen and hear children, when they're speaking and sharing, that they feel, they don't feel whole, they don't feel right, or, especially if they have other outside influences kind of clouding their minds and stuff. So I'm glad. So you think it's important that we share this information with our teachers, but that our teachers be mindful as well about mental health issues and how real it is and how important it is to reach out to that student and offer some type of guidance and resources and understanding, right?
Yes, especially coaches, because like I consider like my sport to be like a safe haven for me. So I think a lot of kids do too. So I think that kids in school and in competitive sports, like every kid should have a safe environment.
Yeah, I agree. And you found your safe space and your energy and your passion in cheerleading. What other outlets do you have, or what other outlets do you suggest others use to kind of deal with any kind of stress or any kind of, just sadness for the day, or anything that's just not filling your spirit?
I go to a church. I hang out with my friends. I went to youth group for all 4 years of high school, and when that ended, I still have a group of people through my church that I hang out with a lot. And I think, like, having a circle or even just a few friends really helps my mental health. And I think, like, having good people around you that like really understands you is really helpful when you're going through a hard point in life, because I know that's really helped me. And I also do a few social like groups so that I can stay connected to other people, because that really helps me when I'm feeling upset.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Well, I know that you want to be a special education teacher. Is there any particular age you're looking at teaching, or how are you going to utilize your degree, your career?
I'm gonna hopefully around like high school, because I did a lot with the special education classroom, and when I was in high school, we had a Best Buddies Club for like all the students and the students with special needs, and I really enjoyed that. It was a very like inclusive environment, so I want to work in that area, because the high schools around the U.S. have done a really good job being more inclusive of all students and not just certain students.
Yeah, that's important too. It really is. Well, what are your dreams? What are your dreams for the future, for your life, for just your work that you're doing right now? What are your hopes and your dreams?
I want to graduate with a bachelor's degree once I transfer to a 4-year school, so that's the big goal. I want to finish my last year of cheerleading is coming up in May, because then I'm just too old and I'll be too busy for it.
You're never too old.
Take you out at a certain time.
She's an old lady.
So I want to accomplish what I like I'm seeking to do in cheerleading. And I think that opportunity is coming soon. like I see the opportunity, so I'm really excited about that. And besides that, I want to do more work with people and especially children in the community.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's important. That is. Now, I know you have somewhere to go. I think you have a meeting that you are heading up or something. What are you about to do? Can you share with us real quick? I think you're leading a group of people.
No, I'm in a group. It's like Young Life is like a Christian group. It's for like high schoolers and young adults across. I mean, I think even past America.
Wow.
It's like we have club and we like meet up and like do activities and discuss like the Bible and everything. And there's a section, part of it, like a division of it called Capernaum, and that's all for kids with special needs. It's like a Young Life group for kids with special needs, and we have there are chapters in I think all over the United States.
I think so.
And so we have the Raleigh group here.
Oh, that's nice. So tonight, obviously you're participating. Are you speaking? Are you heading up a group or something? Or you're just participating and attending?
I participate, but we all like talk a lot in the group. We're a small group, so we're very close knit, and we all get to like talk and have fun in the group. And
I love it. I love that. I love that. Well, I want to ask you, because I don't want to hold you up any longer, but what would you like to share with our viewers? What is on your heart? What kind of information do you have for us, or just what's on your mind?
Just to be nice to people and to reach out to people if you think someone around you is struggling, or like even if you don't really know someone well, but you see them struggling, to still reach out to them.
What'd you create, Kelly? On your remember the kindness? Talked a little bit about the K.
I don't. I renamed it.
Renamed it, okay. But what was it originally?
I don't
what is
really
it now?
know. That was the name of my blog that I started, but I really don't have a name for that.
But it was kindness, acceptance, humility, and love, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, whatever. What is it now? Something
really
similar.
know.
Okay, but we're started at those 4 principles, which I think are very key things that Kelly created on her own. She had a nice blog going, which really opened up and got pretty deep. I mean, one thing that I remember from our Dads and Daughters show, which we used to produce, we talked a little bit about, I remember after January 6th, and Kelly, we did the show maybe a couple days later, and Kelly read a statement. I wish I could give you the recording, but what a beautiful thing she did. Really impromptu. Yeah, somewhere on Facebook, we'd find it for you. But she just wrote such a very powerful, from a perspective of a time you were 18, right? Going through, watching this awful incident happen and destroy our country, and just listening to what Kelly expressed was amazing. Wow. I was sitting there like, man, I mean, you couldn't put anything more in the words of a young person, witnessing what's going on, history, bad history, and kind of her reaction to it. I thought was really, really empowering,
Wow. So. I would love to see that. I might have to find it and share it next week, because I can imagine how that was. How did that moment feel for you, Kelly, if you don't mind sharing, or if you remember anything that you said at that moment, considering that you're all about kindness, and that was not kind.
I thought that stuff like the election shouldn't be dividing people so much, and that people need to find more common ground and respect for one another. So I think that's what made me write it.
Yeah, I love that. Do you think, and I may be a little too deep or broad, but do you think that this can be achieved? Do you believe? I have hope, but do you believe that we will eventually have what we're asking for, just all of us to be kind to one another, for us to just be unified and to be more understanding and respectful? And I mean that on a larger scale than just your community. I mean beyond. Do you think, especially with the work that you're doing and how hard you're working to achieve it, that it's actually achievable?
Yes, I think if people keep speaking out and sharing their stories and truth on a more public, through social media, even since that's so big now, or in any way really, the more people share and what's important to them and their own experiences in their lives, the more I think we'll reach towards them.
Yeah. I agree. I love the fact that you are leading the charge, my friend. I love that you had that spirit in you from a young age, wanting to help others, just like you and others that were different than you. I love the fact that you just care from your core. And I do believe with people like you, you know, at the wheel, I know that this can be achieved. So I'm so grateful to you. I really am. I really, really am. So let me ask you, what do you find so gratifying about the work that you're doing right now, and where it's going, what you're doing and where it's going?
Getting to like reach out to other people, even the people around me, and get to know more about them and help them. And then in turn, I feel like I'm learning more about myself and the world around me. So definitely just how much I've learned.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, you've been around some star power as well. Your father knows everybody in the world. I don't want to give him too much time, you know, fangirling him. But how is it, you know, you going around and advocating about autism, you know, awareness, and meeting these entertainers, these pro athletes, these amazing people that not everyone would have the opportunity to meet?
Well, she's met Tim Tebow and Doug Flutie, but she don't see them as Tim Tebow and Doug Flutie. She sees them as the person, not the athlete. You know, it's very interesting watching her around them because she doesn't know a thing about Doug Flutie Heisman Trophy Award or Tim Tebow and the Gators. She doesn't. She just, look, when Tim was late to our golf outing, she said to me, "The dude was late. The dude was late." I told Tim that. I said, "Tim, you gotta talk to Kellie. You're late, and you know you gotta be held accountable. Tim, do 20 push-ups for me, man." But that's how it's great, man.
Oh my God. I do love that. Unassuming. She doesn't know. She's not going to try to treat them any different. You go ahead, Kellie. I thought you would have gave her the rundown, the definition, education, all of that before.
Not at all. No, he said, "You're late. You're a minute late." When I actually was like an hour late. But
that's right. We're on the clock right now. We got stuff to do. We got business to take care of. I love that. I love that, Kellie. She is all about her business. You go ahead, girl. So I know you have another daughter, Jenna. Yes, Kellie's sister. She's okay. So she's got to go, right?
She just ran out of me. She said she's seen her friend and she said, "All right, I'm out," but it's all good. Now you stuck with me.
I said thank you. I got her for a lot longer than I thought I was going to have her.
So her, but she saw the clock and she saw her friend. She goes, "I'm out." So
oh my God. Well, you tell her thank you so much. I so appreciate her being here. So again, you have been through some stuff, my friend. Before we go into, you know, all of what you're doing, you know, for autism awareness and advocating for it. I was reading in your bio, and I know that personally because we're friends, that you have been through terrorist attacks, I believe 9/11, as well as the shooting at Las Vegas at Mandalay Bay. Tell us about how you remain so resilient and positive and going through all of that and seeing the change that this world is making and knowing that you're raising these two beautiful daughters in this so volatile, at times not so kind world.
Well, they say I'm Forrest Gump, right? Because I've been in all these different places, whatever, but it's probably the most unique story, but I think it's about resilience, right? Bouncing back, right? The underdog story, right? You go through these events and they knock you down, you get back up again, like Rocky, you know. You know, after we did our last show, you might have remembered I went on this journey to do a boxing match exhibition with the guy. Originally started out as Jerry Cooney, right? The guy back in the early 80s who went 13 rounds with Larry Holmes. And Jerry and I were going to tangle in the ring for his charity and underprivileged kids. And it got canceled. COVID happened, and Jerry tore his rotator cuff. Replaced him with Tim Witherspoon, the two-time heavyweight champion. I don't know what I was thinking, hard Irish head. Tim bowed out and said, okay. And I had all these little setbacks, right? And I'm training. I lost 45 pounds. I'm in shape. I'm going to have this moment in the ring. And it kept going, eating at me. I got to do this I want to raise money, but I also want to do this for myself now. It was once I started sparring and getting hit in the head, I'm like, I'm going through with this. So I might actually fight myself if I have to, but someone's getting in the ring with me. So then I had this other opponent who's a cruiserweight, and he bowed out to. Everything went wrong. Then I had this dream miracle happen. My football teammate in college had this Cage Wars promotion up in Albany, New York, where I played football. It was, and I played arena football up there too. So it was like a kind of a dream come true. And Mike Tyson was hosting it. I'm like, Mike Tyson hosting, commentating on my fight and my boxing match. What happened was last minute, the boxing commission pulled the boxing card. They had the MMA event.
Right.
I got to be with Mike Tyson, and but unfortunately, and I got to hang out today like with Tyson there. It was great, but I had no opponent, no match. I had a torn meniscus, and my boxing dream is fading. So what happens? I get a call from Tommy Morrison. Remember Rocky V, that movie? The guy Tommy the Duke Morrison. He played the Rocky's antagonist in the movie. He was probably the least well known of the Rocky movies.
Right.
He passed away about 11 years ago. His widow, Tricia, who I'm friends with, she messaged me on Facebook. She goes, "Oh, I see you're up with Mike Tyson up in Albany." And I said, "Well, I'm actually very depressed right now. I'm in a really bad funk. I have no fight, no opponent." She goes, "What about Richie LaMontagne?" I didn't know who he was, really. He's a guy out in Massachusetts, 3-time cruiserweight champion. I said, sounds interesting. I looked up his record. He was like 29-7. I mean, Richie, I saw the videos of him, like, oh my God, that's an opponent. Good-looking dude. And I said, this could work. Last minute, we pulled it together in 11 days. We do it up in Irish Mickey Ward's gym up in Lowell, Massachusetts. Irish Mickey Ward, they made a movie called The Fighter.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg won.
Yes, I remember that movie. Yes.
Christian Bale won Christian Bale won an Academy Award for playing a guy named Dickie Eklund.
Right.
Dickie Eklund was Mickey's half brother. Dickie works my corner. He's my cornerman. So you got Dickie and Mickey, kind of like Rocky had Mickey. I had Dickie and Mickey. Mickey was the referee, make sure I didn't get beat up too bad, and I had Dickie in my corner. Well, actually, Dickie was giving advice to the other guy, which I heard later, which I'm kind of upset about. But I got to go after this whole journey, 2.5, almost 3 years, on a bum knee. I got to get in the ring last summer and finish what I started, and I did it. Went 3 rounds, 6 minutes. It's not about the 6 minutes. It's not what you do in the 6 minutes. I was a line of the Vision Quest movie, which is one of my favorite movies. So I finished what I started. I want to show Kellie and anybody that being authentic, we finish our journey. You know, journey had to end in the ring. I was going to find an opponent. It was going to happen. I raised money. Not as much money as I would have done for Jerry Cooney, but I did it for Mickey Ward, for a great guy. And sometimes that's how life is. You bounce back, you know. 9/11, we all had that devastating day of that we can never forget. You don't get over 9/11. You just kind of process it in your brain. Yeah. Started 9/11 charity. We got help, started peer support groups with Oklahoma City, and that list has grown. It used to be Oklahoma City and 9/11 community. Now it's grown every day. There's another shooting. There's another.
Exactly.
We did something 5 years ago with the Parkland families. We brought the Boston Marathon, Columbine, Vegas. I was part of the Vegas event as well. And now this group keeps growing and growing and growing.
It really is. What kind of work are you guys doing? I mean, you're obviously advocating anti-guns, stronger rules, regulations, and laws. So are you making any leeway? I mean, this is still happening every single day, 2 or 3 times a day. What is going on? Give me your view, your perception, and what you hope to happen.
One of my friends is Fred Gutenberg. Fred had the infamy, a little bit, or the bad infamy of being, he lost his brother from 9/11 illness. He was a rescue worker, and Fred also lost his daughter Jamie in a Parkland shooting. Fred has been a fierce advocate. He calls it gun control, or gun safety, because we know that they will never eliminate. Unfortunately, they want to eliminate guns and all this. But I think Fred's been lobbying for years. I think there's been some progress, but not enough, because as you know, you see every day, there's just you see these assault weapons that kids are buying on them, and it just goes. And I'm not going to get into the NRA stuff, but it is really awful that when you have to be afraid of your kids going to school or going to the mall, you never know when the next mass shooting is going to be. Not a way we're supposed to live. We weren't brought up that way to have to. So I know there's been progress, but I know that Fred is a parent of a child who will never see again. Daughter was murdered that day on February 14, 2018. He doesn't get his child back, and a lot of other parents have lost their children, and you see it every incident. How many mass shootings this year have we had?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sickening because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I don't think there's anything, unfortunately, until there's real change and compromise. And, you know, I hope they take a page out of the 9/11 book. So when we had the post 9/11, we had these issues with New York City. Really the business leaders wanted to really develop and rebuild right over the remains of the people who were lost on 9/11. And I remember we had Republicans, right? So we had Republicans and Democrats. So you had Giuliani, Republican, Pataki, but then you had the Democrats, Schumer. You had all these other ones, and I'll tell you what, Bloomberg, and you know we made progress only by compromise. Each one put their political parties and ideologies aside, and we worked together. We made a lot of ground. That memorial that if you go down, I know you've been down to the memorial downtown.
Yes.
And that memorial was really done because of the families who really pushed to get the politicians on both sides of the fence together to make change, make sure that memorial honored everybody who was lost on 9/11 and continues to be lost, the rescue workers. And that really museum tells a story.
Yeah.
You had the memorial, but really go in the museum and you learn something every day you're in there about the lives who were lost that day. And they weren't, but that memorial took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I remember the fights going down to City Hall. We really, the first 4 years after 9/11, we spent so much time lobbying. And one of the reasons I moved to North Carolina was the mental strain of dealing with that every day while having two young children that were just born. It was tough because all those issues that came up, and people will never know the real stories of the fights that the families and survivors of those on 9/11 went through.
I'm shocked about that. I thought that would have been a given. I mean, we were violated that day, and we have to honor those who lost their lives and who I feel sacrificed their lives. So how in the world would that be any kind of pushback to me about honoring them in that way, putting, making sure there was a memorial for them, a place where people could go to remember the last place that they actually were. Like, I don't honestly get that, but I get politics.
Well, it wasn't just the politics; it was the residents. The residents, they didn't want that. They didn't want that dark. They didn't want that. The museum. They wanted to forget it ever happened. Well, you know what?
Wow, really?
So we had to fight. We had to fight the residents. I remember those two. Those are ugly fights that we had at Pace University. I remember being down there. I'm not going to name the lady from the residents committee, but yeah, they were pretty much against all of us. We fought against all odds to get everything. We knew we were going to get 16 acres as a memorial, but what we got there, let me tell you, that was more than they wanted to give us.
Yeah,
and
far exceeded. No, it's beautiful.
I give Bloomberg a lot of credit too. That guy, when he came in, he didn't really have he had a different personal ideology about losing loved ones, but I tell you what, he listened when that transition from Mayor Giuliani to Mayor Bloomberg. I was a little nervous at the time because he really had a different opinion on what that meant, and but he came around and he listened to us. And Pataki was the champion for us from the very beginning. Governor George Pataki, I never saw a guy that he doesn't get the credit that he deserved as a governor. He really, but it was a lot of people. Schumer, Chuck Schumer. People can say what they want about him. Chuck Schumer fought for the 9/11 families every day, and he still staying with us. We're fighting some issues right now, 22 years later, and he's still there for us. So. But if we had a Republican, it was bipartisan. Yeah. We didn't want to identify as Democrat, Republican. We're American.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I get that.
I think gun legislation, gun control comes down to we got to be Americans, not one party or another. And there's no reason that people should go out and not have background checks on weapons and go buy assault rifles and have kids go in there. And to say it's just blame it on mental illness, that's the wrong answer.
It is. You're absolutely right. I think a lot of issues, we need to tackle as just Americans, as just people, and not, a certain type of group that you're affiliated with or some political affiliation. It shouldn't be that. It should be us just identifying with each other and trying to hash out these issues as people, and that's it. So I'm just so grateful that you're here, that you were able to make it out of both of those horrible tragedies that occurred. And, you know, I know that you work so hard and tirelessly every day to make sure that this is not happening again. It's unfortunate that it continues, but at least you're still out there advocating and putting in the work to make it a little easier, you know, for
you gotta bring people together. You gotta bring people together. The Vegas story was almost like crazy how I ended up there, and you know my crazy world of doing all these. I was actually going from a golf outing in Maryland, Cal Ripken, I do every year, and I decided my best friend growing up, one of my best buddies, went to summer camp with Brett Raymer. He was on a TV show called Tanked on Animal Planet. He builds aquariums for celebrities with his brother-in-law. Today I'm having a show. I'm going to get engaged to on the show, and I said, well, I want to be on that show. I want my kids to see me on TV. I helped them get some guests before, Chris Jericho, Johnny Damon. I want to be on that show. That was my only motivation to go out to Las Vegas that weekend, was to be on this TV show, which, by the way, I only get like 5 seconds in the credits.
Wow.
I mean, those editors, they killed my TV time, my TV moment after I was got. But it was crazy, and I was on the way to Scott Baio's golf outing in Los Angeles, so it was a layover. So Chachi, you know, Happy Days.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott's my dude, so I was like, I'm going really for the purpose of ending up in, obviously, in Los Angeles.
Right.
So it was just a weekend. I ran into everybody in my childhood that weekend. All my friends are out there. It was like my whole life was passing in front of me. I don't like country music, so thank goodness I don't like country music. I didn't even know a country music concert, what Route 91 was.
Wow.
I'm a Bruce Springsteen kind of guy. Like, I don't really like that. I like my Run DMC. I like my
right.
Country's really not in my thing. But I'm from Brooklyn, right?
Flatbush. Right.
We don't have country music where we grew up in Flatbush, right? So that was how I didn't even know. I'm at the Mandalay Bay. That's where I stay all the time, having a drink with an old friend, and he wanted to find his way back to the Excalibur Hotel, which is the hotel that I never go to. And I'm like, I know there's a tram, and I said, I don't know where this tram is. We're having drinks. I'm like, I got to go to bed. I got to get up early. I got a golf outing Monday morning at Scott Baio's, and I couldn't find him the tram. I didn't know where the heck it was. I said, just walk outside. It was like 10 o'clock at night by Las Vegas Boulevard, past the fountains. Just make a left. You'll end up there. We walk outside. We hear boom, 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 and I thought, oh wow, cool, fireworks. Oh, that's then I think the guy switched windows. Must have been at that point, because this next round was louder. Like the first one, kind of more faint. Second one, that was loud. He switched windows, obviously, and then I heard Sniper.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But we run back inside the hotel, and that's when all hell broke loose.
I could imagine.
You know, but really what came out of that experience, I'll tell you, was PTSD. Everybody, Mental Health Awareness Month, as you know, is next month in May. And for me, I had, PTSD obviously from 9/11. But now with the work that I'm doing for the NFL, I'm an NFL alumni chapter leader in the Carolinas here. We're trying to really get into that mental health aspect of helping retired players and others with these issues. And I'm in a peer support group on Fridays that I do with people, professional athletes like myself, former athletes. And we kind of come together, talk about things, struggles, and there's no labels anymore on having mental health issues. And, 10 years ago, you didn't talk about that. But now I think the vernacular is PTSD is a buzzword that everyone's familiar with. But back 10, 15, 20 years ago, my dad just got diagnosed, Vietnam veteran, served the U.S. Marine Corps, right? Just got diagnosed by the VA with PTSD. I knew he had it for 50 years. I could have told you that.
Thank you.
But, guy went over there when he was 19 years old from Brooklyn, from Red Hook. He ends up in Vietnam on the front line. So you don't think he had PTSD after all he went through? Of course, now, 50 years later, it's a diagnosis. I'm like, really? But
no diagnosis. There was no diagnosis for it back then. I feel like my father as well. He was from Vietnam, and he, to me, just was a very volatile, sort of easily angered person, and I never could understand why. And I saw him beating himself up a lot and always, just wanting to make sure the family was okay. But I feel that there was a certain emptiness inside of him, or fear or something. And I can never figure it out. But my mom said he used to wake up with a lot of nightmares and stuff. So these things back then weren't diagnosed. Same thing with autism and all of these other I call them their abilities, but disabilities. When I was younger growing up, I had friends who had autism, but we did not acknowledge it
We
that
didn't
way.
know that either. Yeah, how many kids we went to school
Yeah.
with that had it? Now I'm like, that kid had it, but
Thank
I have a good friend of mine that had Tourette's and he had Asperger's, and to this day, he'll never say he had Asperger's. He has Asperger's. Trust me,
Yes.
he does.
Yep.
He was actually the one I was with on before the Vegas. Actually, the night of the Vegas shooting, he was with me, and so I love him to death. But I know obviously he wasn't called that back then. But he's done so much good stuff. He's independent. He does things on his own, and I'm proud of who he's become, overcoming those disabilities. But we didn't have those labels back then. Now it's a label.
And when you didn't have the labels, they weren't kind. You know what I mean? No. They were very, very just disparaging words that we used to sort of describe these people. And I didn't know any better. I was a child, using these words because it was just based on how one acted opposed to what they were actually feeling and going through. We weren't aware of that at that time. So I'm so glad that, people like you are out there advocating. I'm glad that there's education out there now. I'm glad that people are learning about the differences in others and that it shouldn't be a stigma and you shouldn't be called these horrible, horrible names because you see the world a little differently or you're unique in your view about the world. So time is winding down, my friend. You said that you have some stuff going on with the NFL. Tell us real quick a little about that, and then we'll have to let you go.
Okay, but I'm proud of the fact that I'm doing a lot. I just came back from. I've been on a road trip like crazy the last couple of days. I did Joe Namath's golf outing in Palm Beach. I ended up at Victor Green, played for the New York Jets. I know it's a New York-based show as well, number 21. It's my bro. He just had an event in Atlanta. We were helping the Boys and Girls Club of America, right, the Atlanta chapter. Oh, nice. And I just did a Charlotte golf outing for Kawan Short of Carolina Panther, helping underprivileged. So the theme of the NFL, what we do is care for kids. We try to help the kids' charities, related charities, Boys and Girls Club. We help Shriners. We help a lot of those children-related causes. We try to help our own, and I'm trying to bring a lot of that connectivity to the alumni chapters so we can really give back and be much more dedicated to serving our communities. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last couple of years, is really going full circle from somebody who was a failed professional athlete to really like giving back to the NFL alumni who took care of me when I was done, right? When I was finished, and they did a lot for me when I was in Tampa Bay. No job and no future at that point. Right. Got a job in banking. I became risk management, and I do this whole other career with risk management stuff. It all started because I was a failed professional athlete, and I had to find my way. Right. NFL alumni helped me get there. Now I get back, and I don't get paid for this. And people say, "Man, you get the best job." And that's not a job; it's a passion. I don't get paid for it. I get paid by my regular job. I do this stuff on the side. I want to get back and help kids and impact. We do this big Shriners golf outing. We're doing it in August 13th, 14th in Pine Island Country Club. We're helping Shriners in Greenville, helping their Shriners, is just so you know, it's like St. Jude's. Shriners. Yep. St. Jude's in the South. Yeah, it's great. And seeing these kids that come out, we give all the money back to them. And those are the kind of events that I get passionate about. I do that all the time. Every week you'll see me doing another event for helping kids and Boys and Girls Club. I just came back from doing a big event with them as well in Charlotte a few weeks back, and we just got to help our youth and make them help wherever we can.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much, my friend Mike, for being here. I have 30 seconds for you. Tell me something that you want to share, something on your heart, something that you think is just informative for us to know or good for us to know.
I'd say resiliency, follow your passions. You heard my boxing story briefly. I finished that in the ring. Football, I played celebrity sweat flag football just this past Super Bowl Saturday with guys like Doug Flutie, Andre Reed, current players like KJ Osborne, on NBC televised, 11,000 people. My career ended in 1995. I'm still playing flag football now to this day at 54 years old. So I have a rebirth. I love football. I don't want to give it up, so I'll play as long as my knees. I've had 2 ACL surgeries.
Wow, I know
I can't go no more. But we got to live life to its fullest. And I played baseball, as you know, with the Yankees. I did a lot of events with the Yankees as well with Ray Negron, your friend. I got to play an Old Timers Day with the Yankees one year in 2015 for I mean, I live my dream, and everybody got to live their dream, and whatever it is, live it your way, you know, do it your way.
I love it. Thank you so, so much, my friend. Do not go anywhere, but please, let's put up his information. You can reach Mike at The Real Mike. Is that themikeDempsey.com? Please go
That's
to
the website. Yeah, the website is
Yeah.
themikeDempsey.com, and Instagram is Real Mike Dempsey.
Okay, that's what I thought. I know I saw that somewhere. But look, thank Kellie so much for being here. I'm going to have you guys back, you especially, so that we could talk about the PTSD, mental health. That is so important, and especially, you know, May coming up. So we will talk again soon, okay? All right, my friends, I want to get real quick to the Dare to Be You. And the Dare to Be You is autism. Love me, support me, understand me, encourage me, teach me, remind me, guide me, motivate me, have patience with me, but most of all, accept me. And that's exactly what I hope and encourage everyone out there to do. Just respect the unique differences in others. Kind of enjoy the beauty in the way they see the world. Look at things from a different perspective through their eyes. We saw that today through Kellie, an amazing, beautiful, wonderful woman who is living her dreams and is out there trying to make this world a better place through her advocacy, as well as her father, Mike Dempsey, my friend here that knows everyone from everywhere. We just want you to just support. We want you to advocate. We want you to love, and we want you to show compassion for the autism community. Thank you so much, Mike, for being here again. We will see you again soon. I want you guys to remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. Let's go out there and be some love, give some love, and share some love. I'll see you next week on Our Unity. You have a wonderful evening, and remember that I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Mike. I love you. See you soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Strong Island Entertainment.